Hi, Diane Worm here from bestwormcomposter.com. We're 1 week into our worm experiment with the Worm Factory 360 and a standard worm bin. So I thought I'd show you today what I'm going to be feeding the worms and how to care for the bin in progress. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the Worm Factory 360. I'm just going to peel back the lid here. Set this on here. It's starting to dry out a little bit, so I'm going to get that a little bit wetter later. So look at this. So this is the easy worm mix that you can see here. I'm just going to dig down and see if I can find some worms doing their thing. Let's see, there's some. There we go. Kind of hard to see, but there's one right there. Woo, he's frisky. He's a frisky one. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to dig down because we're going to feed them. And I'm going to feed them about 2 pounds of food today. As you've probably read in various spots, worms can eat up to ½ a pound of their weight per day. And I'm figuring there's probably about 1 pound of worms in here now. So I'm going to try and feed them about once a week and do an updating video. So I'm going to, just to be safe, I'm going to feed them about 2½ pounds of food at this time. I'm going to show you the other bin first, and then we'll put all the food in together. So now we're over to the standard worm bin right here. Once again, the top is starting to dry out a little bit. The soil looks nice and damp, but not too damp. We'll just stir around a little bit, see what we find. Oh, there's some. Woo! There they go. Not sure if you can catch that on the video, but there's one right there. Once again, I'm just going to make a hole in the middle where we're going to put the food, because it's really important that we bury the food. Okay. So let's do this. You can see some of the bedding there in the form of the newspaper and some of the eggshells and the pumice and all the great stuff that we used for the bedding. So right now, I'm going to bring up what I'm going to be feeding the worms today. Once again, I'm all about variety. I might be going a little overboard, but we got a really nice rotten apple here. I've been saving this. Pear from my daughter's lunch, some cut up banana peels as well as some whole ones. A couple tablespoons of coffee grounds and half an eggshell. I was told that the worms really like that for having babies. Some yucky old lettuce. I read today that if you want to fatten up your earthworms or worms in general, like I'm using red wigglers, but if you want to fatten worms, apparently lettuce is great for that. I've got some nice decomposing kale stems here, which I started my bin with. Some great pieces of cantaloupe. So this is a really nice variety of food for your worms. I'm going to put it in here and bury it really well. And they are hopefully going to just go nuts over this stuff. Bury, bury, bury. And the soil doesn't feel too damp. That's my biggest concern with the lack of ventilation on this one. And just put this back on with the damp side down. And then I'm just going to very carefully put a bit of water on the top so that it'll sink into the newspaper. I don't want too much moisture. And then we will check our standard worm bin in about a week. Then over to the Worm Factory 360. Big hole. We're going to bury the food really nicely in there. Same exact food, because I want to compare apples to apples here when we're doing the comparison between the composters. So once again, same food. Dump her in. This might be a little hard to bury actually. Let's see if I can get it buried here. Let's flatten it first. Get it down in there. Bury it as well as I can. There's a little eggshell. Bury, bury, bury. There we go. Hopefully the worms are hungry, ready to go. And our damp newspaper lid, and this one also is dried out a little bit. So I'm just going to water it. Probably could also do this in a container outside the bin, but I wanted to kind of show you the process. Not too damp, and I can always check it in a day or two. And we'll put the lid back on. And we'll check the worms in about a week and see how they've made out with that great meal that I've provided for them. Check out my other videos on bestwormcomposter.com. I'm Diane Worm. Have a great day.